Alright guys, today we are here with the 2023 Ford Ranger Raptor. Now this is the highly anticipated update to the Ford Ranger lineup. It is incredibly hard to get a hold of if you are wanting one, and we have had the guys at Money Direct Finance gladly lend us the car today, so big shout out to them. If you are looking for finance on new, used or any type of car, and whether you have good or bad credit history, they're the guys to go speak to. So we'll leave a link in the comment section, but basically moneydirectfinance.com.au/apply-now. Back to the car. So this car here is a 3-litre V6 twin turbo petrol engine. And the big change there is it's gone away from the previous Ford Ranger Raptor, which had the bi-turbo diesel. What that means is you will get a little bit more fuel consumption in terms of the use, but hey, at the end of the day, if you're spending almost $100,000 on a performance ute, chances are fuel consumption is not at the top of your shopping list. Let's have a look at a little bit more in detail. From the front, you are not mistaking this as any other plain Jane Ford Ranger. The massive Ford lettering across the grille will be a clear indicator that this is a Ranger Raptor. This particular one has had a color coding treatment applied with the paint finish, so you're not getting an unpainted finish on that grille, you are getting a color coded grille, and I think it looks mint. You get a 360-degree camera on this particular vehicle, so you also get the camera at the front and a little washer jet, so if you go off-road and you cop a bit of mud, bugs, whatever, you'll be able to squirt that onto the camera and clear it off so that you get a nice clear picture when you are parking this car. And you are going to want a nice clear picture when you're parking this car. If it's not already evident in the shot that you're watching, this car sits 100mm wider than the standard Ford Ranger, so it is a menacing presence on the road, but it also means in car parks, you're going to have to be a little bit more switched on for car parks and trails, and that camera system is going to be a godsend, and you'll work out why pretty quickly when owning one. Front parking sensors are standard. They go to add to that parkability and drivability. So at the bottom, you will notice that there's this little bit of a gap down here that carries the whole way across this bottom section of the bumper. Now, because this car is designed with off-road use and off-road pedigree, it's designed to allow for that additional flex that you get with an off-road vehicle without hitting the rest of the paintwork or the rest of the body of the car. So you're not going to end up with damage because it overflexed, and that's what that gap allows for. You do have fog lights, front parking sensors, as we mentioned before, and being a Ranger Raptor, it also comes with built-in recovery points that are rated for recovery. So you remove these covers here and they're located just on either side of that grille, allowing you to get fully off-road without the worry of how you're going to recover it should things get a little bit hairy once you are off-road. Now, let's have a look at these headlights. A C-clamp design, so your LED daytime running lights flow almost like a C on that side and a reverse C on that side, or half a D, whichever way you want to look at it. They also have the Matrix LED performance headlights from Ford as well. So you're going to have great performing LED headlights off-road that will adapt and adjust to the environment and conditions. So jump on the Ford website to get a real deep understanding of exactly how those work, because they have some great explanational videos and information on there. But great design from there, and it just gives it that bold, nice presence that you are expecting from a Ranger Raptor. Moving along to the sides, this piece here would normally be unpainted. The guys have color coded this once again just to give it that nice bit of design, as well as this color coding down here. So I think they've finished it off really well. It would be great if Ford actually offered that color coding. This piece here has also been color coded to the rest of the car as well. The wheels on this particular car have been upgraded, so I won't talk too much about those, but they are a fuel upgraded wheel and rim package, tire and rim package, sorry, I should say. The standard ones on a Ford Ranger Raptor will come with the BFG KO2s, and they will come with an option of getting a off-road only beadlock tire and rim package as well. So jump on the Ford website once again, should you want to get a bit of information there. The side steps are a hell of a lot more practical on the Ranger Raptor than the rest of the Ford range. They are pretty sturdy, and they've got like a kind of like a gritty finish, or a a grainy powder coated finish to it, which means that you're not going to slip off on, you know, rainy days. Say if you are off-road, or maybe there's a bit of mud on there, you will have a bit of traction getting on and off that side step. From the outside, the rest of the car is like a Ranger and like the rest of the range. Handles are in the same spots. You do have smart sensing entry on the Ranger Raptor, And on the Ranger Raptor, you also get two options with the sticker kit. So you can either have the Raptor sticker, or you can have a massive decal that will be a bit more aggressive and be a bit more Raptor-y. That is also available on there. You will notice on the side that there's a missing side step, so you don't have that upper step that you do get on the other Ranger models. And that's because the Ranger Raptor gets the upgraded exhaust system, and the componentry for that actually sits behind where that step would normally be, which means that they couldn't make that work with the exhaust that this car needed to have. Moving around to the rear, you have a really nice design for the Ranger tail lights, and once again some more Raptor badging here, so you're not going to confuse this as just a plain Jane Ford Ranger. You will know that this is a Raptor if you haven't already figured it out by the stance. Some more recovery points on the back here as well. They are rated, as well as reverse parking sensors, and you get a camera system for the rear as well that will allow you to see whatever you're backing up into. You can fit an optional tow kit, and there are a number of different towing and touring packages throughout the Ford Ranger range, so make sure you jump onto your Ford dealer's website or chat with your Ford dealer to get a bit better information there. And obviously the rest of that trimming there is just the standard rear bumper. All right, so let's have a look at the tailgate, and can you still use it for work? To open it up just at the top, and it's a nicely sprung tailgate. You will see some notches cleverly all along the edge here. That's if you're going to measure out a length of wood, maybe some piping, and you're going to use that as a workbench. Admittedly, probably going to have very few people that are going to use it as a workbench, but if you do, and if you plan to use it like a workbench, you're going to have all those measurements through here, plus some clamping sections in here so that you can conveniently clamp down whatever you are about to cut. So measure twice, cut once. Moving through to the inside of the car, this has had the optional spray and liner, which is a really nice liner system. It means that you're not going to scratch up the bed of your car, but you're not having to have one of those ugly plastic drop-in mount liners that some other brands have, which generally over time don't look all that nice. So good job there from Ford. Plus you have some power outlets in the back here as well. So that's another big plus there. At the top here for accessories and other things, they've designed these little clip out points here so that you're not having to drill into your tub. You can just take these out, screw into whatever you need to. So if you're going to put in maybe some bed racks, you know, some ladder racks, whatever you're going to have, there's just a lot of flexibility there, and they're in places where you would generally be screwing another accessory in. So it saves you having to drill into a brand new tub, which quite often is the big thing that a lot of people don't want to do. And understandably, when you spend 100 grand on a ute, it's the last thing you want to be doing. There are convenient tie down points throughout the rest of the car. So there's 6 in total in the car, in the tub. And then from there, you can option it up with things like roller covers, canopies, cross racks. Basically, you name it, you can dream it. Ford has designed it or is about to release it. So keep an eye out on the Ford website for their latest accessories when it comes to that. Closing that, as you see, was super easy, and that's once again because of the assisted tailgate design versus a standard, non-Ford ute that won't have that. Toyota Hilux is the main example that I can think of off the top of my head, which you open the tailgate and it just drops down and it's super heavy. So if you've got kids opening the back, maybe you've got a partner and they've got, a kid in their hand or whatever, and they're opening it up. Last thing you want to do is be dealing with a super heavy tailgate. So really good thinking there from Ford to make that as a standard feature rather than you having to pay for it. Let's have a look at the inside of the car and talk about what you get inside. All right, so you might be thinking almost $100,000 drive away, depending on the state that you're located in, is a lot for a ute. But when you factor in the componentry for the performance side of things with the Ford Ranger Raptor, you definitely get your value for money there. And then coming into the inside, this is a great car if you never plan to take this car off-road and you're just going to run around town, and it's a company write-off. So soft touch materials at the top, soft touch materials in the middle here, in the center section here, plus this nice highlighting on the plastic trims here and here. And the plastic down the bottom doesn't feel like a cheap, harsh plastic either. So they've done a really good job at making sure that you feel like you're in a premium space or cabin rather than just a traditional work ute. And I think that's a really good job to the Ford engineers that designed this car. You have your power window switches and your power mirror controls all on here, plus your retractable external mirrors, the switches just here as well. So you have everything you need at arm's length, plus your central locking switches conveniently located on the door rather than having to be searching for them. Let's have a look inside. All right, so the experience of this being a Ranger Raptor and being something a bit more premium and special starts from the minute you turn the car on, and that's with this massive digital display. Gives it a nice animation, all the controls are in here, and everything else that you need is a nice crisp, clear display. So you're gonna love that from having this. It will also give you things like your trip computer. It will give you your average fuel consumption, the range, every normal traditional measurement that you want in there. Now, one of the things I really like about the Ranger Raptor is it has a exhaust control switch on the steering wheel. So that is one of the handy buttons that are directly on here. So you can select quiet mode. So if you're maybe been out with the boys for too long and you're getting home quite late, you're trying to sneak in at home and not wake the kids or the family, that's an excellent mode. Normal mode is for around town. You're going to have a bit of a nice note to it, but without it being excessively loud. Sport mode gets a little bit louder, and Baja mode is for off-road use only, and it is a lot louder and a lot gruntier, and obviously refers you to the owner's manual for that, and then you can return it back to the normal modes. Some of these buttons, in terms of the, I guess, the overcomplicated setup here. So you have the R button, which just covers any of your modes here that you want to do. So if you know, kind of any of your preset settings, basically. Steering itself, you can change it from comfort, sport, or normal steering, and your dampener control as well. You can change from normal to sport to off-road mode there. So while these buttons are handy and they make sense to have in a quick, easy access, at the same time, for the majority of people buying one of these cars and the amount of times that they're likely to use those buttons there and those modes, it probably could have been placed somewhere else so that you're not cluttering up the steering wheel just there for that limited time that you use it. Moving to the center console here, you're going to have a really nice big display. It's got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. For me, I've programmed it so it has a cable, so give me 2 seconds while I plug it in. But you can see it's pretty simple in that setup. So USB cord goes in, and once that's connected up, you have everything else through there. So nice crisp display when it comes to your Apple CarPlay maps. The one thing I would have liked to have seen is a better usage of this real estate down the bottom here. So you are limited to 3 buttons here, whereas it's got ample space to have a number of different kind of key ones that you have there. You can go back into your normal menu and it will give you a nice crisp clear display here, and then down here is where you have your air conditioning controls, your controls for your heated seats, which this car comes with, plus your air conditioning controls as well. So it's all requiring you just to touch. This is one thing that probably you will need to get used to it as you're driving, because it's a little bit different to a standard display. You have a number of modes that are buried in here as well. So once again, it's just a matter of just getting used to the car and then working with it. I've seen a few people comment about this setup being a little bit cumbersome. The reality is once you've connected it up once and once you've programmed what you're going to do, most people never touch anything here other than change what song they're listening to or directions for a map. So those controls are pretty set and forget. Volume controls are down here. You can still control the air conditioning fan speeds and temperatures by using this cluster down here of buttons, as well as volume for the actual audio system. So you're not having to go back into this unit, although you can do fan speed from within here as well. That's one thing that I really do like and appreciate in the way that Ford has designed this. It's just simple to use for the everyday person that is going to be adjusting it as they're driving rather than before they get off on the road. One other cool thing here as well is when you don't have Apple CarPlay connected, or even if you do, and you want to charge your phone with wireless, or you have someone else that wants to, you have a wireless phone charging pad down the bottom here that will connect up as well. Cup holders, now these are a little bit shallow, but they do the job relatively good for Australian cups. It would have been nice to see a deeper cup design, but this cluster here is nice and well laid out, so no complaints there. And the drive mode button is a massive switch over here. That drive mode button will do your 2-wheel high, low, and your auto four-wheel mode. Now, by having it there, it's just nice and out of the way and easily within reach. So well designed there once again. Outside of that, because it is a Ford Ranger, it also has the automatic stop. Every time you come to the set of lights, it will turn the engine off to conserve fuel. If you don't like that, that button is also located just here, and you can just press that there. So it's a simple press of that, and that will deactivate that. The other button that you can press down here is your camera mode button, and that camera mode button plus the off-road settings will instantly give you on the big display here your front camera, plus then it will allow you to lock and unlock your front and rear diffs and do other off-road functions there as well. So that's a nice design once again from Ford. If you want to change what you're looking at and what you're sensing, you can also change them through up here. The one thing I will note with this system is it is a little bit laggy, but I think it's just purely it's a massive screen and it's trying to do a lot. Over time, I think the Sync 4 system will improve just with some over-the-air updates. But that's what you can do there, or you can go for a 360 bird's eye. So you can have a look at the 360 view plus your forward view. Now this is putting you in control of where you're going to go, and as you move the steering wheel, those guidelines at the front will also move. And that's one feature I really do like, because that will allow you to better judge what track and route you're taking on some of those tracks that may be a little bit more technical or a little bit more challenging. Outside of that, it's a quick flick to go back to the original controls there. Nice space. Let us know in the comments what you think. Is it a little bit too complicated with that center screen, or is that center screen just what you need to fit everything in without overcomplicating it? Now, moving on to the rest of the dash design, it's very much a truck or US style truck design. So it is practical, straight to the point, and almost like a tough space to be in. That allows for cool things like this. So a top console that opens up there, and a glove box down the bottom here, plus this little neat storage shelf. So if someone is sitting in the passenger seat and they just want to chuck their phone in, you got plenty of space to just literally dump it in and have it nice and out of the way at the top there. Materials are this nice soft touch material flowing across here, and then the rest of the dash itself is a standard plastic dash at the top, but it gives it that nice premium feel that some of the other Ranger models do not have. Seats themselves are super comfortable. As I mentioned, they are a more supportive and more bolstered seat, being a Ford Ranger, a Ford Ranger Raptor. So once again, super comfortable there. One of the things that is a super smart idea from Ford, which other manufacturers should definitely take note of, is this auxiliary switch bank at the top here. So these come ready for you to switch out whatever lights or other accessories you need switched. Because let's face it, it's a four-wheel drive, there's a good chance that you're going to put some aftermarket accessories in, whether they be winches, spotlights, camping lights, whatever it is, you're going to be switching something. So these come ready to roll, and all you're going to do is just flick it on and off basically once they're wired up to the corresponding light. So rather than having to drill in other kind of holes into your dash to fit buttons for those nice new spotlights or light bars that you're about to put onto the car, this comes prefabbed with it. So they're ready, it fits nice and neatly, and they're out of the way. So great job from the Ford engineer team once again, and the design team, in making a car that is actually practical for how it's going to be used. Sunglass holders, they continue to be a thing, and right there. And outside of that, great visibility out the front. So in the back, the Ranger in the previous model was always a super roomy rear seat area compared to a lot of its competitors. And truth be told, it's probably no different in the 2023 model. The front seat is back where I would be sitting, and I still have reasonable leg room. However, if you are north of 6 foot tall, you probably might be touching the back of that front seat. There's a look, they are kind of dipped in as well, so if you needed to, you could sit with your legs together and just slot in. And a little bit of storage here, so if you need to put your phone or tablet or anything else in behind the seat, there are the seat back pocket holders as well. The doors are uneventful, they're just standard rear doors, but they do have nice soft touch materials for where your arm would be resting on longer drives. plastics at the top. They do miss out on the nice soft touch materials that the front doors have at the top. Funnily enough though, they do get the soft touch materials in the middle there. So kind of a shame that it didn't have the soft touch materials on the top part of that rear. Down the bottom, you got space for some bottles and any other kind of storage that you need as well. Air conditioning vents at your knees in the back, plus a USB-C and USB charging outlet in the middle. Grab handles at the top here and at the front, so if you are off-road and things are getting a little bit bumpier, you're good to go there. And because this car is fitted with a Bang & Olufsen, I don't know, B&O premium audio system, the sub sits directly behind you, so if you are in the back, there's a chance that you're going to have a nice little soft massage on bassier kind of music, and pretty ample. They do have ISOFIX ports in the back as well, and that's one really handy thing. But the one other thing that would have been nice to see is as the seat adjusts for the back, the whole bench comes forward rather than a split rear bench. So if you, for example, had a baby seat in the back, but you needed to latch onto something in the back or get anything else, you would have to be moving that whole baby seat forward in order to do it. So you have 2 child seat top tether points in the back here as well. You don't get the 3, so they are directly on the ISOFIX seats, not in the center seat as well. But outside of that, it is overall a really nice place to be. So highly recommend, definitely check it out and see for yourself if this will fit and accommodate your family. But a great family car overall. Now guys, we've seen exactly what the car can do. To be honest, I think it's a great alternative for someone that doesn't want to go for a American-sized ute, but still wants a really high-performing off-road ute that is comfortable for day-to-day driving around town. And this is definitely the car to go and see. So once again, thank you for Money Direct Finance for allowing us to borrow their car in order to organise this review for you. And like I said, they can help finance anywhere from good to really good and not so good credit applications as well. So if you do need a hand looking at your credit situation, they can help get you into your next car, and with a great professional team that's always ready to help. So leave your comments in the comment section, what you think we covered with this, and if there's anything else that we need, don't forget to subscribe and keep an eye on the channel for new cars that we are always reviewing. Thanks again.